Welcome to my life. We are live, guys. How are we all doing? How are we all doing today? I hope we are doing absolutely amazing. We are in for a long ride. If you are seeing the thumbnail of this video, yes, that is exactly what we're going to talk about. And to be very apt, you know how we do on this channel. We do not sugarcoat things. We do not make things sound perfect when it is not. And this particular one, I am so excited about it. And if you missed the live, don't worry, the video is going to be available on my channel, so you can always watch it anytime you are free. There is always a replay of this, so don't you worry. Okay, so let's give it a little bit more time for YouTube to notify people to join, and then we will continue the video. Okay, so we'll give it about 2 minutes, of 2 to 5 minutes, to see people who can join. Let's give it a little time for people to join. So as you are seeing on the thumbnail of this video, we're going to be talking about how you can move to Ireland as a dietitian, as a medical laboratory scientist, optometrist. So if you are here, don't rush. We are really going to take our time to talk. Like this video, give it a very big thumbs up. Drop some comments in the comment section. If you have any specific question that you might want to ask, don't forget to drop them in the comments as well, and I'm going to respond to all of them. Stay on the live so you can get all the details. If you miss the live, there is always going to be a replay. So like I said, as you're seeing on the thumbnail, I think we can start now. I've waited for 3 minutes. So like I said, there are other healthcare professionals apart from doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. And in Ireland, every healthcare profession, not only in Ireland, every country has a regulatory body, right? Every country has a regulatory body. And in Ireland, the body is called CORU. So nurses have Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland. The doctors has their own medical council board. The pharmacist has the pharmaceutical council board. I'm also going to be talking about them, all of them, in due course. But today's video is for allied healthcare professionals. So who are the allied healthcare professionals? They are the dietitian, medical laboratory scientist, optometrist, radiographers and radiation therapists, speech and language therapists, social care workers. They are the let me just read directly from them because there's no need to try to quote things. Okay, so right, let me read out all of them for you to see. So I already have all of them as well already on the thumbnail of this video. So those are the people I'm talking about. And also this video is for people did not study in Ireland. So I'm sure that if you are clicking on this video, it means you are located overseas. Ireland is not the country in which you were trained in. And so there are steps that I have here. I'm going to explain all of them in detail. So like I said, grab your popcorn. We are in for a long time. We're not going to rush this life. No, we're not going to rush it. We are going to be in for a long time. So now, who is Coro? So Coro is a body that regulates the health and social care professionals in Ireland. And what do? They do just like any other regulatory body. But when you are coming from overseas and then you want to practice in Ireland as any of these healthcare professionals, you need to undergo what is called recognition of your qualification. So they have to go through your qualification to see that if you are fit, if you've obtained the necessary education according to the standard of practice to be deemed fit to practice in that your field in Ireland. And the first thing that will even allow them to get your qualification, you have two things. The first thing is that you should already be registered in your home country or your country of training. So sometimes people, let's say people from Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia, Zimbabwe, they can travel to different countries to study. So, but they are not from that country. For example, I have someone who is from Nigeria but studied in one of the EU countries, and because of that, he was able to get his pharmacy qualification recognized automatically in Ireland because it is still in the EU. But the one I'm talking about today is those that did not go to school in the EU. So that is the one I am talking about. And what do I mean by that? Now, so if you are in any of these fields, hi Wild Bloomer, thank you for joining. If you are in any of this field, the first thing is that you should already be registered in your home country or your country of training where you obtain your qualification from, and you should currently be practicing in that field, so you have a current license. Okay, and there are basic steps for you to go through. The first thing is that you have to apply for a recognition. And how do you do that? Now, if you go to the qualification, thank you, Job Adebayo, thank you for joining. Share the live, like it so that YouTube can recommend it to other people. What is application for recognition? So application for recognition of international qualification is just like what I have explained. You are applying to this body for them to recognize the qualification that you already have. Because if you're already a dietitian, medical laboratory scientist, physiotherapist, you do not have to, you already gone to the school, you've graduated, you've started practicing, you do not have to go back to school again in Ireland before you're registered. They just have to go through all the things you've done in the past and see that you are fit or not. And believe me, people have done this. It's just that I am one person that is open to sharing all these things. I even know of somebody, a dietitian from Nigeria, who got his recognition like directly and got his license, got his critical skills, and moved here with his family. Okay. So yeah, so if you are on that page, you would see something like welcome to Coro recognition. So if you have your qualification outside the Republic of Ireland and you want to work in the Republic of Ireland in a role where you need to be registered as health and social care professional, you need to engage with Coro to have your qualification assessed and recognized as part of the registration process. So like I said, the process is in two steps. The first thing is recognition, and the next step is registration. It's somewhat similar to that of the nurses. So that is why it was a little bit, yeah. So this video is for you. Stay on and listen. Yes. So having your qualification recognized means that your qualification, and if necessary, any additional postgraduate training and professional experience, is assessed to see if you meet the standards of proficiency for the profession you intend to practice in the Republic of Ireland. So let me now give the overview of the process. So medical laboratory scientist is one of this profession that is recognized by Coro, even though there are different boards. I don't want to confuse people. So there are, the overview of the process is as follows. The first thing is the application. So when you submit all your documents, the status will read file complete. So file complete means you've given them all the things that they need. You submitted right from your passport, your transcripts, your every documentation, which I'm going to be mentioning in due course in this video. So stay put. The next step is application sent for assessment. So Koru is like what I would like to explain or call it third party between you and the different boards you are intending to join. So let's say you're a medical laboratory scientist. So you're going through Koru to get to the medical scientist board, registration board. If you're a dietitian, if you're a physiotherapist, you're getting through Koru to get to the dietitian registration board or the physiotherapist registration board. So when Koru accepts your documents, they will now send it to the various board for assessment. Now, after that, assessment recommendation review, they will go through all these things, and then there are three things that can happen. The first thing is that recognition of qualification. So applicants proceeds to registration. So after they go through your qualification and they see that, oh, you are fit, you have all the things you need, go straight to registration. You now apply for registration. Or they look through your qualification and see that there are some deficits in your training, in your practice, and they need you to do what they called compensation measure. So compensation measures are two, which I'm going to be mentioning in the due course. So I don't want to confuse you. I want to take it step by step. There could also be a third outcome, which is refusal, which means due to the documentation you've given to them, they've gone through your record, your documents, and they see that you have not meet the standard, and there is not just a little deficit. What they see that your training, the reason for refusal, to the best of my knowledge, will be solely related to your training. Okay, so maybe the school you went to did not cover all aspects of the necessary things that should lead you to holding that professional license. Now, there are various tips to help in your process of application. The qualification assessment process relies on the documents you provide. I am reading directly from the website, and I'm also putting in some words because it's similar to what nurses go through, so I have a fair idea, which is why if you are somebody that is not a DIY person, you need somebody to hold you by hand and show you how to create the account, upload all the documents. I am here. If you're from Nigeria, it is 50,000 naira. I'll guide you through till you get a decision. If you are not from Nigeria, then you have to pay 50 euro. I'll guide you through, you apply through. If there is any query, all of us will answer you together. I'll give you ideas because I have a fair knowledge. I've guided many people through the nursing route to get their decision later. Okay. Now, the more information you can give us, the faster we can reach a decision. So this is because, like I said, Koro is like a middleman between you and the registration boards. The different registration boards meet every 6 weeks for a review. So if you give like inconclusive information and the registration board does not really understand what to give, or they need more information, you will have to wait till they have that meeting. Then they'll relate it to Koru, which Koru will now send you an email, more like a query, to ask you so things. We need more information. Why is this thing like this? Why is this thing like this? And there are so many reasons why you could be referred back to give more information. So you are still going to know, but let's take it step by step. We are not going to rush this life. So grab your popcorn because it's fully packed. There's also going to be like a short form of this video, but still carries everything that I'm going to be posting tomorrow, still on my channel. So you want to subscribe to this channel. If you are watching it after this live is off, you can check my main video content, and then you're going to still see it is going to be the same thumbnail. Okay, now they need you to be Koro needs to be satisfied that you have the knowledge, skill, and competence to practice your profession here in Ireland. Now, what are the key terms? Let's explain. You could hear something like assessment, certified document, compensation measures, period of adaptation. What does all these things mean? The first thing is assessment. Your application for recognition will be evaluated against the standard of proficiency for the profession you are wanting to register in the Republic of Ireland. So the ones you have is going to be assessed against, going to be compared or evaluated as against somebody who studied for that same course in Ireland, against the standard of proficiency, because this is a profession, a highly regulated profession. Their job is to protect the public by making sure that the people that they give the license to have the necessary knowledge, the skills, and the competency to provide this assessment, to provide these services to the public. If you hear something like certified document, which I'm going to be mentioning a lot during the course of this video, what do you mean by that? Certified document means that you must have certified document means that you take, let's say this is your original certificate. So you take the original certificate, you take it to a notary public or a commissioner for oath, or if you're in the UK, post office, because post office is also, but these two things will be these two institutions, notary public. A notary public is like an advanced level of a lawyer. It's not every lawyers that are notary public, but a lawyer can as well do it. But it's advisable you do it with a notary public or commissioner for oath. So commissioner for oath is slightly cheaper because that is the government sector than a private notary public. Okay, so you take your original certificate, you go to a notary public or the commissioner for oath. They will look at it and then make photocopy of it. They can ask you to make the photocopy. Obviously you have to go with it, because if you are in a country like Nigeria, they will tell you there's no paper for them to photocopy it. So you make photocopies and go with the photocopy and the original. They will look through it. So they are going to certify on the photocopy because they're going to write on it. That's why you have to photocopy, because they can't write on your original certificate. They're going to write on the photocopy saying that this is to certify that this document is a true copy of the original. So they have seen the original and it is the same copy as this one. Then they are going to put in their contact details, their name, and their address. It's not their home address, it's the address of their business. If it's a notary public, then the address of his or her, what do they call, where lawyers gather, firm. Yeah, firm. If it's a commissioner for oath, then it would be the address of where the high court is. So you can find them in any high court. Please help me like the live so that others can get to see them. Give me a very big thumbs up. Okay, I know you're enjoying the video, right? Let's continue. So that's what certified document means. So when you hear of any document that needs you to be certified, it means you're going to take them to these two people like I explained just before now. So you will also hear the term compensation measures like I mentioned before. Compensation measures will come in if your application does not fully meet the standards of proficiency. You may need to complete additional training or pass an exams to address the identified deficiencies. So there are two options for you to do this. You could do this in form of an aptitude test or in form of a period of adaptation. Now, what is competent authority? Because you're going to be needing the competent authority of your country, either your country of your the country where you get your qualification from, to give them verification. Thank you, Ikenna. Thank you for joining. Like the live, share it to many people as you want. So, competent authority, for example, in Nigeria, I know we have the board that regulates the medical laboratory scientists. We have the board that regulates the dietitian, physiotherapists, radiographers, radiation therapists. So that particular board is going to, depending on how your board works. I know many things now is done online. So maybe you people have like a license portal, however you do to renew your license. Okay, so you go up there. Yeah, optometrist is part of what I'm talking about, so it is the same thing. Okay, it's the same process that you're going to follow. All right, so after you've gone there, you apply for them to send a verification. So they are going to send a verification to Coro stating your name, date of birth, when you registered, and also certify that you verify that your license is current and you do not have any outstanding disciplinary action. Your license is also active. Those are the things that includes the registration, but they know what to write when a verification is requested from them. Now, I already mentioned the eligibility criteria before, but just for those who are joining now, the eligibility criteria are two. One, you need to have undergone this training and have your certificate, have your license, and you are registered and currently practicing in your field. All right. So, file complete, letter of recognition. So, if they give letter of recognition, is the confirmation from Koru that your qualification meets the standard of proficiency. So the registration board, just like the name, is registration board. All right, so let's move forward. The application process now. I hope we are taking notes. So the application process, to start the application process, please read our guidance. So there is a guidance there on the website if you want to, but I'm actually going to be explaining everything. If you want as reference point, you can go back to read these things. We want you to come to work in the Republic of Ireland, and we want your application process to be as seamless as possible. Because you did not get your professional qualification in Ireland, you will need to provide the following certified document. Remember, I explained what certified document is as part of your application. So if you are taking notes, bring out your pen. These are the list of certified documents you're going to be writing. I give you 2 seconds to get your writing material so that you write them down. Ready? Let's go. First, certificate of relevant qualification. For example, I have 2 people watching me. One is medical laboratory scientist, one is an optometrist. So when you graduated from the university, your university gave you a certificate to say you have qualified. Okay, so that certificate is what you are going to be submit here. Certified copy of your certificate. Next thing you're submitting is academic transcript in full. Academic transcript in full. Next is syllables, module handbook of the course training you undertook. So your syllabus is the same thing as curriculum. You're going to submit from the beginning, the Curriculum will carry everything, every course you study from year 1 to your year 4 or year 5, as the case may be. Because I know most of these courses is 4 years, but probably if you're in Nigeria and the ASU strike jam you, you may have studied for 6 years. So you're going to bring everything that covered the period of your training. All right. I'm trying to elevate my laptop a little bit so I don't look down too much. I'm not really good at things like that. Okay, so let's continue. Remember, that's 2. Certificate of Relevance Qualification, academic transcript in full syllabus. Next is confirmation from a competent authority. Remember, I explained what a competent authority is. That's your registration, your current registration board, and any other board you've already read. Because some people may have moved from their first country to other countries, so you're still going to get verification from that country as well. Every board you have registered in, you're going to get verification from them. Next is descriptors of your previous working history, internships, placements, relevant research undertaken, and any CPD certification. CPD means continuous professional development. So any continuous professional development programs. So this could be in form of webinars, workshops, or sometimes they just call it continuous professional development, and they tell you literally what you learn in things. I know we are all professionals, but I'm just trying to, just in case it sounds somehow, but we are all professionals. We all undergo continuous professional development programs. It's just a way of you learning more of the, things that are new, things that are currently happening. That is how you learn. So if you have any of this, add everything. Because let me tell you the most important part of adding your CPDs and any placement you did. For example, the first person that dropped a comment here said he has been practicing for over 20 years experience, which means he probably graduated 20 years ago. What you studied 20 years ago, the way things were done. For example, as a medical laboratory scientist, I'm sure there are new reagents that have been introduced into the field. There are new procedures. There are new tests. Probably that time we were only testing for malaria and some paratyphoid antigens. But now we have COVID, which is new. We have things, and you may have gone back to learn how to be able to screen a blood sample or any sample to know how a COVID looks like. You've undergone the training, because when you were in school, you did not know what a COVID virus looks like. You understand? You did not know what HIV virus looks like, and you have gone back to learn. So you're going to add all of that training, all those certificates. If it was anyone, maybe it was something like a short course of 6 months that has like transcript, or have like a little bit of a syllabus, add everything, so that they know that you are not just a professional, but you are somebody who likes to update your knowledge, and you always go back to update your knowledge. This will really help your application. Now, those are the documentations. You see, those are like the academic documentation. You're still going to be adding your passports, because those are identity documents. Majorly, they request that during your registration, but with Coro, registration and recognition seem to work hand in hand, you know. All right, so I have already explained the 3 outcomes of the process, but I'm going to say it again now. There are 3 outcomes after they have assessed all these documents you've submitted to them. They could be recognition, they could be a compensation measure, and they could be a refusal for your application. Now, how much is it for you to get this done? How much is it? The amount here, the application fee for recognition is 510 euro. See, it's very cheap. It's 510 euro. 510 euro as at today in Nigerian naira, because you know on this channel we don't we give real information, because I know when it comes to money, some people think, I remember how anxious I used to think that this thing used millions, only for me to realize that by the time I finish all my things, I spent just a little over a million naira to get everything done. Now, as at today, if I type in here 510 euro to naira is 861,390 naira as at today. If you are from Ghana, if you are from Ghana, Ghana will give you, if you are from Ghana, Ghana will be 8,083 Ghana cedis 50 cents. Okay. So if I don't know if there are other countries watching me right now, I have people from Zambia, so I'm going to add that. If you are a Zambian, this is it's not picking. I'm coming, please. I have Zambians watching me. So if you're using the mobile wallet to collect from Zambia, you're going to get 14,341.20. I don't know what your small this thing is. So that we have 14,341 Zambian, I don't know, is it one or however that is called? Okay, so let's move forward. Now, like I said, everything is done online. You're usually going to click on there's an icon here, you click. So if and when you're creating, let me use this opportunity to say this. When you are creating an account with anything overseas, Ireland, very important. Be mindful of the details you put. Most times you do not see the space for first name, middle name, and last name. You're going to be seeing space for four names, FORENAME, forename and then last name, or sometimes forename and then family name. So if you see forename, you're definitely going to see last name or family name. Okay, so on your forename, if you have a middle name or if you have more than one name, put it there. Put, for example, if you're, yes, I've seen two names here, Job Adeboya Adebayo Olaoti. So you're going to put Job Adebayo as your full name and then Olaoti as your last name. Otherwise, you're going to be getting lots of query when you submit your passport that carries the three names. You submit your documentations, your transcript, your transcript, your certificate that carries your three name, but on your portal you have just two name. You're going to be getting query for name variation. So that's a tip for you. Make sure you create it right. If you need help, I'm just a DM away. My email address is always attached to my description box of almost all of my videos, so you can check. Now, there is a contact if you want to ask them anything. If after you've watched this live and you are still curious and be like, this girl, is she actually telling the truth? Can they recognize my qualification? You can send them an email yourself, or the email address is registration@koru.ie. Koru is spelled CORU. So registration@koru.ie. That is the email address. You can send them an email, explain everything you want to explain. Just give them more details as possible to what you want to know. They will, in fact, they will even send you attach like application forms, attach many things for you. These people are very active online. They are not like our registration board that you even call and nobody will answer. All right, now the application is in 3 steps. Okay, the application is in 3 steps. Now, applicant seeking, step 1, applicant seeking recognition as a dietitian, dispensing optician, medical scientist. Medical scientist is the same as medical laboratory scientist. Occupational therapist, optometrist, physiotherapist, podiatrist, chiropodist, radiation therapist, radiographers, social worker, speech and language therapists, social care workers. Now, so social care workers currently have a different pathway. Okay, you are invited via the Koro online. So if you have an existing account, otherwise, I believe people that are watching me here are new. You just click creating an account. All you need is your email address and your name. I just really, well, if people ask how to create the account, maybe I'll just use, I have like an email address I created for my mom. Maybe I could use that to just to demonstrate. All you need is let's have a look. Register for an account, your email address, and then let me just put any email address here, your email address, and then you click next, and you're going to see you put a password. That's it. Okay, that's all you need. All right, now let's continue. Note, EU EEA qualified physiotherapists can apply using the, that's different. My audience, I believe, are non-EU, so I'm not going to go into details of that. Are non-EU. Those are, so they are like a domain that your this thing have to meet, your training has to meet. Thank you, Mr. Joe. There are domains that your qualification has to meet. There are 5 domains, literally. One is professional autonomy and accountability. I don't really want to go into this, but I'm sure as professionals, we know what professional autonomy and accountability means. Communication, collaborative practice and team working, safety and quality, professional development, professional knowledge and skills. Those will be reflected on your syllables. Yeah. Now, there are also 6 standards of proficiency. Well, there's actually no need to read all of that to this video. I don't really think that is relevant, but let's see. Now, application received after 1st June will be assessed against just 5 domains. Professional autonomy, accountability, safety and quality, professional development, professional knowledge and skills. So you could see the way it is sounding. Like I emphasized, if you have gone back to get any additional CPD, please add it, because that will prove professional development, prove professional knowledge and skills, and prove safety and quality. Because the more knowledge you have, the more quality of service you're going to be providing to the populace. Communication, collaborative practice, this come in terms of your employment history. And then autonomy and accountability comes when you're eligible, you're registered, and of course when you have a license, you're accountable for anything you do. Okay, now let's continue. Like I said, the email address, if you want to ask them anything, is registration@koru.ia. All right, so that's like the first step of everything. Now let's go into recognition timelines, because I know the question on your mind is how long? I have many people watching me. Why are you guys not liking the live? Please like it, share it to people. People need to hear this information, because one thing I am happy sharing, even though my videos are not going viral, is that even if it's one person that comes across my video, if I had this information as far back as 2018 when I just graduated, probably now maybe I would have been a little bit up there, but we still thank God. What are the timelines? How long is it going to take? Now listen. Applicants should be aware that the recognition process can take some time, but we cannot guarantee the outcome of an application. Therefore, applicants are strongly advised not to make travel arrangements or other arrangement, which depend the applicant being successfully registered. So what they mean there is that for the fact that you've applied does not mean you're going to be getting it. So they don't just want to come off as 100% shorty, okay? But do not quit your job yet until you are done with everything. But let's go back. every registration board has this. Even NMBI, the nursing, they all have this disclaimer on their website, so don't be scared about that. Applicants who make travel, work, or other arrangement before knowing the outcome of their applications do so at their own risk. We know. We know. Now, on receipt of your application, this is the timelines for sure. I hope people can still hear me. Please, if you can hear me, let me know, because I don't have a mic for this phone. So I'm trying to speak a bit more louder. At the same time, I don't want to shout too much. So if you are hearing me clearly, please, could you drop a comment and say we can hear you clearly, so that I know that people can hear me. Thank you, please. Can you do that? I'll give you a few moments and then I continue. Now, on receipt of your application, stage 1. Thank you, Mr. Ikenna. Stage 1, application submitted. Upon your application being submitted, you will receive a confirmation email that your application has been submitted. So let me say a little bit about the application submitted. So when you go online, like I said, it is literally the same thing like what nurses do. When you create the account and you see all where you have to fill in all the details, your address, all those things that are going to ask you. Application submission means you have paid the recognition fee. They will not go through your qualification to start assessing it if you have not paid. So when you make payments for the qualification, the 510 euro, that's when they are going to. It's actually 410 euro for recognition, 100 for registration. Okay. So when you make the payment, you have submitted. But when you see file complete, it means you have given everything they need. Thank you, Mr. Job. All right, so Coro will lock the verification document, log, L-O-G, from your university and competent authority and any other relevant providers as we receive them. And when everything has been received from you and relevant third parties, your file will be deemed complete. That's just what I explained. Because some schools do not give documents to applicants, to candidates, or to their ex-students, however you want to put it. For example, my school, it's very hard for you to get your transcript by your hand if you are sending it to any official body. They prefer to send it themselves. If it's something that needs to be courier, they will get the money from you and courier it. If you want them to send through email, then they will send it. They won't give it to you. So some schools are like that. So if you go to any school, any of your school, and your school insists on them sending it themselves, don't worry. Just liaise with them, give them everything they want, let them know what they should send, because it is very important that you let them know what is expected of them, because some of these schools have not done transcripts curriculum for the particular body. It might happen that you are the first person, and if you went to a university, even if you are not the first person, and probably the person that was in charge of doing that and that did it for the previous person is not there again, you might have some struggle, which is why I always advise anybody, try and be friends. It's just for when you go, like our people, try and be friends with them so that they can do your thing the way you want it, to avoid query. Okay, so when they receive it, and most, like our nursing and midwifery board of Nigeria, they don't give us the verification, unlike some other boards like the Indians. They give it to the nurse, but they don't give it to us. So probably your own board may not give it to you, so they will send it directly to Koru. And then when Koru receive it, they lock all these things onto your portal. So they have all the information on your portal. If your school is sending anything through Korea, when they sent it out, if they're using like DHL, UPS, they'll give you the tracking number. So you use the tracking number to check when it arrived Koru Center. There's a physical address if they're sending it through Korea. Okay? So that's the stage 2. When they collect all these things and log in, they will review your application. Stage 3, assessment stage. When your application is considered complete on the first stage, it will move to assessment stage. During this stage, we will consider all the information that you have provided to assess your professional qualification for recognition. The assessment process will identify if any substantial differences, in bracket deficit, exist between your qualification and the standard of proficiency I read previously. If deficits are identified during assessment, we will consider any additional training or post-qualifying work you have done that may demonstrate the standard. You may be asked for clarification or additional information at this stage. Now, I'm going to read that again. If deficits are, I'm coming back to your question, please. If deficits are identified during assessment, we will consider any additional training or post-qualifying work you have done that may demonstrate the standard. What they mean there is that, like I said, for somebody who graduated 20, 40 years ago, education keeps upgrading the curriculum. It gets, I remember somebody that was a nurse 5 years before me did not do biostatistics in school, but we did, and we were the first set of people that started biostatistics in nursing school. So it keeps upgrading. So even though you had missed this during your training, but you have undergone any additional training, let's say you finish as a degree or you finish as a diploma and you've gone back to do a degree still related to your field, you've gone back to do masters, you've gone back to do postgraduate diplomas, gather everything, don't leave any stone unturned. They will look through this, look through your practices, your employment histories, and then see if they can see something to compensate with what has missed in your transcript. Now you're saying something, can the school send it through? Sure. There's what is called official email. Let me use this opportunity to explain. You remember when I called the assistant and said registration at koru.ia, right? It's not so common in Nigeria for staffs to have work email. There's what we call work email and personal email. So if you have any email that is Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Outlook Mail, all those kind of email, those are personal email. It is not official email. Then what we call official email is, for instance, Mr. Ikenna Nweke works at let's say University of Lagos Teaching Hospital. So your work email could be something like ikenna.nweke at University of Lagos.ng, because Nigeria is NG. Our I don't know what that is called, is NG. In Nigeria is NG. Ghana is GH. Ireland is IE.IE. UK is .UK. Okay? So if your school, for instance, University of Lagos, your school does not have official email, then when they sent it, they need to attach an explanation letter stating that this email is the official email of the school, so that when Koru receive it, they know that it's not just one person sitting down in one corner somewhere in Sambisa Forest sending email and claiming that this particular person is a student. That's why official email is recognized. Otherwise, they could use courier. Okay, so if they agree to send it via email, that's fine. It's just that sometimes this document becomes a bit bulky, and if they want to reduce the size to be able to compress into the email, it reduces the quality of the scans. Okay, and sometimes when they look at it, they can't really see it and they'll start coming back to you. So most times I say, if your document is large, pay that money and do courier, okay, to be on the safe side. All right, let's continue. I was explaining stage, the assessment stage, what could happen. They also mentioned that you may be asked for clarification or additional information at this stage. Remember I said when you are creating an account and then you just see a place for first name, you put only your first name, and then you see last name, you put last name. You do not put your middle name, otherwise even when you have three names. By the time you submit your passport, you bring in your transcript and they see that this one is three names, this one is two names, they're going to query you. They're going to ask you why the name is not in line with each other. Or if you're a female, you've gotten, especially if you're a female from Akwa Ibom, because Akwa Ibom, when we are born, we have three names. One is our name, the middle name is our father, this last name is our grandfather. So when we are getting married, our middle name is our husband's name, our last name is our father's-in-law's name. So we are removing two names. Then the Igbos, they have two names to themselves and the last name is their father's name. So when they are getting married, they remove their father's name and put either the husband's name or some of them will even add husband's name and husband last name. So if that, then you need to provide your marriage certificate, your change of name affidavit. And even after that, sometimes in Nigeria, we address people by their last name. For example, when I was working, many people do not know my last name as Noe. So everybody keeps calling me Sambo, 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 because we address people by last name. But in Ireland, they address people by their first name. So if Ikenna Nweke, Ikenna is your first name, Nweke is your last name, here they will be calling you Ikenna. But in Nigeria, you'll be referred most times to as Nweke, which means on your certificate, you always see something like last name, first name, and middle name. Whereas here, all of your document comes as first name, middle name, and last name. And if there's any of your document that somebody was somehow when typing your name and he flipped to last name, middle name, and first name, that certificate is no more yours, because it's different now. So if you have such cases, all you need is an explanation. Write a separate explanation for name discrepancy. The title of the letter will be explanation of name discrepancy. If I'm guiding you, I'm going to look through all these things and make sure you get it right. All right, so let's move on. So things like that, they could ask you for verification, or because you're going to be writing when you started school, when you ended, when you started working. If for example, you started school in 2001 and then you finish in 2010, for instance, nobody goes to school for 10 years. And then you now say that you started working in 2006. How were you able to work without getting a license? That kind of a thing they will ask you. So you need to be very careful with your dates, the timeline of everything, so that you get everything moving and moving well. All right, let's move. Then it is very important that you provide sufficient details and submit complete information in your application to ensure a fully informed assessment can take place. Remember, this thing is like garbage in, garbage out. It's like computer. They are not in your head. They are not in your school. They are not the ones who trained you. So whatever information you give them is what they will work with. Currently, I have somebody who is at the verge of being refused a decision letter with the Northern Board of Ireland because of limited information she submitted. So sometimes it happens. So you need to be careful when you're gathering your documents. Now, stage 4, registration board decisions. On completion of stage 2, the registration board for your profession will make a formal decision on your application and issue a decision in writing to you. Stage 3 and stage 4 of the process can take up to 4 months following notification from Koro to advise you application is considered complete. So, like I said, it is until when you make the payment and submit it that the time starts. So all these things can finish in 4 months. It could be longer than this if you are going back and forth. But if everything is correct and it's just moving, or you have maybe just one or two queries, then it moves. Remember, if you have any query, the registration board meets every 6 weeks. So it is after the 6th week that they meet that Koro will now get back to you. Okay. All right, let's continue. Please note the registration board reserves the right to request further information or clarification in respect of any component of an application for recognition prior to making a decision. So they will not just, from the first one you submit and they look through it and say, this person is refused. No, it doesn't work that way. Because even though they are not your original registration board, you still have the right to appeal. Yes. If they refused you, you have the right to appeal, and they will still look into it again. Okay? They are very lenient. All right. So we move forward. So that's the timeline 2. Now, if your application is refused, an application may only be refused in very limited circumstances. They even say that, including failure to complete the compensation measure after 2 trials. Now, when I go into compensation measure, which is the next thing, I'll explain that better. Now, what is a compensation measure? Like I said, there are 3 decisions. 1 is recognition, 2, compensation measure, 3, refusal. So if they've looked through your things and there is a substantial difference, they will offer you to do compensation measures. Just as the name implies, it just means that, you told me you are a medical laboratory scientist. I've looked through, but the medical laboratory scientist that I am training knows this, but you don't know it. If you think I should still give you this license, come and prove to me that I should give, that you know this, and that I should give this. So that's like a layman explanation of what compensation measure means. Okay, so there are 2: adaptation, period of adaptation, or aptitude test. So what is a period of adaptation? A period of supervised practice in Ireland. So it's going to be done in Ireland under responsibility of a fully qualified and registered member of the profession. So it's the same thing we nurses do. Me, I underwent the period of adaptation. So it means, let's say I am a nurse, I am coming to work for a period of adaptation. So I am working under the supervision of a registered nurse. If you are a medical scientist, you are working under the supervision of a medical scientist. So that period, and you'll be supervised and see that you are safe. They can safely hand over their people to you to take care of, then you're good to go. Now, a period of adaptation addresses only the substantial differences identified in a professional qualification, meeting the standards of proficiency and practice placement criteria. Maximum duration of 3 years and must take place in Ireland. Is actually very lenient. I think they are more lenient than the nurses, because it's maximum of 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, if you don't pass, you need to go back and start again. But they are very good. Maximum of 3 years. And when you are, let me just say something, because I know some people are already scared. How will I go through it? So when you are at a period of adaptation, it means you need to get an employment to be able to do this. Now, they will guide you. They will guide you. You will for adaptation under this Koro, you need an employment, you need a visa, because obviously you're going to do in Ireland. So if you are from a country that needs visa, which I assume most of my viewers are, you need to get a visa, you need to get a job. So you need to start applying. So when with the decision later, you are good to go to start applying for jobs. So when there is a job, they'll give you a job contract, you apply for a visa, and then you come in. But if you get the recognition straight without having to do this, then you do not need a job to, but the only thing you will now need is a work permit. So you need the job to apply for a work permit, which you can stay in your home country and apply for your critical skills. And when you're coming in, you can come in with your family. Okay, I hope I I'm trying to make it very straightforward so I don't go back and forth and confuse you. But if you have questions, please kindly drop them. 1 second, let me drink water. My throat is dry. Thank you for waiting. All right. A formal period of adaptation proposal must be submitted to the board for approval by the board prior to the commencement of, yeah. So this, in the way it works with the nursing, so you have your portal. Remember that you did all this application, so through your portal there is a place where you need to click and then submit this notification to them, and then they always, like nursing will always issue out what they call candidate certificate. They will issue out what is called candidate certificate. This happens subject to reporting. So the candidate certificate may be downloaded to you in like a night to that, okay? But you need to let them know so that they know that they have a candidate somewhere, because there is somebody supervising you that will be reporting directly to them. If you're qualified, they will write to them that you're qualified. Otherwise, then you need to repeat it again, okay? So that is one repeat allowed. So if you fail the first one, you can repeat again. It's the same thing with nurses. You can repeat again. But I think they are more lenient than nurses, because maximum of 3 years is a lot. Is a lot. There's no how. If you come from country like, let me not say something before they will say you are too proud. But I'm proud to be Nigerian, because if not brain, we get up. Now only good governance we don't get. All right. So the second measure of compensation, which is aptitude test. Now this is my favorite part. You know why? I will tell you just in a few seconds. A test limited to assessment of the professional knowledge of the applicant, professional rules applicable to the profession in Ireland. Just as the period of adaptation, aptitude test also assesses only the substantial differences identified. This takes place in host state. What is more better than that? What is more better? Like, these people are very lenient. I'm telling you, this takes place in host state. They will organize this for you. Let's say you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Cameroon, and you apply for your recognition to be assessed. After everything, they find out that you need a period of adaptation. They will arrange it in your home country. So you do not even have, so you have the option, another option of getting your license right from the comfort of your own home. If the initial documentation you gave was enough. That is the best part of this. That is one of the things that excites me, because I know how we nurses and even doctors are struggling, and even pharmacists are struggling, because they need to come in here to be able to complete the part. So, but in their own case, you have an option to do it in your home country. Start smiling. Start smiling. All right. Now, it must be offered within 6 months. So within 6 months of when you got the decision letter that will be issued to you, they will send everything through you. So now let me explain a little bit thing here in layman term. So after you have applied and they look through it and see that what you have is not enough, for them to just approve it for you to go straight to the registration. And you have the option, you have the sole responsibility to choose, or should I say the sole authority, something like that, or autonomy, to choose between the period of adaptation and aptitude test. And if I were you, I will always choose aptitude test. You know why? Because it is allowed for me to do it in my own state. So you write back to them and let them know that you will undergo the period of aptitude test. They will be the one to go ahead and arrange it for you. Somebody say hallelujah. Of course, it's not free. It's 500 euro. Okay. The exams is 500 euro. Please see the files below to assist you with your period of adaptation and consult So I'm going to just quickly open that link to read a few things for us. So there is an adaptation note here where they talk about the overview, the assessment outcomes, the duration, timelines, approval, cost, locations, suitable. So I'm still got, let me just go ahead and mention all of that in very brief details. Okay, like I said, we are not rushing this life. If you're on my life, you want to learn everything. Okay, so they go ahead to talk about the domains, which I have already mentioned previously, and then they go ahead to talk about the overview. I've already explained that. Then the outcome. Now let's read what the outcome to be. The outcome will be subject to the assessment. So the registration boards will ultimately decide whether or not the standards that you have met the standard, of course, and if the applicant does not meet the standard, then the recognition will be refused. So the duration cannot exceed 3 years. Okay, it can be more than 3 years. The board will determine the length of the adaptation and will outline this in your decision. So this is after you have indicated interest that you want to do adaptation. They will outline it for you. So what's the timeline? An applicant must decide on the choice of the adaptation within 30 days of receiving a decision. So when you get your decision later, you're going to decide whether you want to do adaptation or aptitude days within 30 days. Okay, when you decide within 30 days, you now confirm to them in writing, and this must then be commenced within 18 months. So in 30 days time, you let them know you want to do adaptation, and in 18 months time, which is 1 year 6 months, you have to start your adaptation. So you have a period of 1 year 6 months to look for a job, look for how you can get a visa. Remember, you can also apply for like a short stay visa, because this is one of the reasons you could apply for an atypical working scheme and come into the country. There's what we call atypical working scheme. It's part of the immigration process, so I don't want to go into that, so I don't like make it a bit complicated, but just know that you can apply it yourself if you are unable to get a job. You are like on the route of self sponsorship. So the registration, the applicant will receive approval in writing for further details. Okay, then the cost, you will be the one to bear the cost. Location, it will be here in Ireland. So it is your responsibility to locate the site, and supervisor willing to provide this for you. Now I'm just mentioning the valid points. So a site is suitable if this is not really for you. So attendance has to be 100%. But remember, if you are sick, genuinely sick, you could always let them know. But you have to have 100%. Like while they always say here, because I know it will be the same thing. Sick leave should be medically certified. So if you are ill, you have to go to your GP and be medically certified. It doesn't mean if you are sick, you need to go for your adaptation during the period. You just have to be honest with yourself, and don't just sit down in your house and say you're sick and you won't go. You'll be queried for that, and that's not good. So for the supervision, the requirement for supervision will be similar to those for a practice teacher supervising a student on practice placement. So yeah, so you work just like we do. You're doing the normal job. They will tell you what to do, and somebody's looking after you. Okay, looking, somebody is like bearing the responsibility for whatever error you may do, but don't go and do too many errors, because that could fail you. If the adaptation occurs within 2 year transitional period, that's the 2 year after the register opens, then it may be supervised by a registrant from the profession or another qualified. So that's not really something I want to go into. And then they go into talking about the social workers, they talk about the induction, then and all of that. So that's like an idea. But if I were to choose for anybody, I would say choose adaptation. Pay the fee, do the adaptation, you have the opportunity to repeat if you fail the first one. Okay, and if possible, if you can get through to someone who have done this before, they could give you an idea on how the test looks like. But we are still going to talk about it. So during your adaptation, you have meetings, you have the initial meeting, final meeting, and then they will be writing report. All the forms are attached on the website. I don't really want to talk about that, except maybe if people keep asking that question, then we can go back to talk about that. Now, let's talk about some frequently asked questions. Questions people may have in mind to ask if so the first thing could be, what is an international qualification? Qualification you get in any country outside of Ireland. That's it. How do I make an application for my qualification to be recognized? It's online. The link is here. You could just click and then you apply. Is recognition process separate from the registration? Is separate, and it is a prerequisite to the registration. Who is a competent authority? Like I said, your registration board, your initial on any other registration board you have. Am I registered with my international? No. So you need to apply. What is the fee? The fee is 410 for the recognition and 100 for registration, 500 euro for aptitude test. Okay. So for adaptation, it may be slightly expensive because you have to book your flight, you have to look for accommodation, you have to pay for your visa. So, but don't be scared. There is a relocation package for every international worker, international skilled worker coming into Ireland, to the tune of 4,710 euro. Yeah, for non-EU. So that fee will cover this, your aptitude test fee, your English exams if you are writing, your the 510 for the recognition and the registration, your flight, a few weeks of accommodation. It could even cover your initial residence permit, which is 300 euros. So they cover a lot. They cover a lot of things for you. So I've explained many things that is here. If you have any question, this is the time. This is the time. There is a guide here for you. So this what is called recognition appeal. So let's say you, I hope you record this lecture. The playback, or what is it called, is going to be available on the channel. I have also made like a video which will be about maybe 17-16 minutes, which I also explained. I was also detailed, just that I didn't read one by one. I just picked the points I explained. I'm still going to post that video. I'm going to post it after I go off live. I'll edit it and post it tomorrow. It's still going to carry the same thumbnail. Okay. Is there anything I need to mention? I don't think so. So question. How do I find a job? I know this is, sometimes I wish I could share my screen, but Facebook does not allow. What is it called? Does not allow. Facebook dollars allowed. There is a poll going on there, so I want to see how you rate this live, please. I would really appreciate that. So now, if let's assume you've applied, you've gotten your qualification initially, and then you want, because the next step is for you to come into the country, right? But you need a visa, right? And because you need a visa, you need documents to be able to apply for your visa. Now let me explain a little bit about the visas in Ireland and how it works. Mind you, a very bold disclaimer: I am Ndwe, so I'm a registered nurse. I am not an immigration specialist. I am not an immigration advisor, but I am just a simple girl who is very inquisitive, because I am very inquisitive. Please let me turn off my heater, because the room is becoming very, 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 very hot. Okay. The room is becoming very, very hot. Let me turn off my heater. 1 second, please. I'm here. I am here. I am here. All right, we are back. Thank you for waiting. Please, please let me know how you rate this live. Should we do this more often? Share my videos. You guys should help me share. I've invested a lot on my content creation journey, but all right. So I was talking about the immigration part of it, because when you get your license, you will not just going to get, the aim is to come to Ireland. So what do? I'm going to tell you the website, because I don't like it when I hear stories of I have people in my DM, and let me not go there. I have people in my DM. I paid this person 3 million. He said he will apply for visa. I applied for my visa myself. It is very simple. It's just questions that they ask you. So remember, this video is for healthcare professionals, and all the healthcare professionals that you're seeing on the thumbnail of this video all belong to where we call critical skills occupation list in Ireland. What is a critical skill occupation list? Let's start from there. So Ireland has gone to look for, say, okay, this particular sector needs more people. This particular sector needs more people. This sector is very critical. So because of that, they put this list together, and then they make it that if you're a professional in that field, you are entitled to a type of work permit, which is called critical skills work permit. So I'm not going to talk about the general work permit or any other work permit. I'm focusing on this because that is the target audience I have. Critical skills work permit, right? So what is a critical skills work permit? This is the type of work permit that allows you to come into Ireland immediately with your family, with your spouse, your de facto partner, your spouse, or why your spouse. It's just better to use spouse, because spouse means either husband or wife. So I don't want to keep saying your husband or your wife. So your spouse or a de facto partner. A de facto partner is an unmarried partner. So me and another. Good. This is a very good question. Now, this is what I will answer. Age may not be a problem, but your health is what matters. Someone could be 20 and very ill. Someone could be 50 and very strong. I don't know if this is discussing something very, but if anybody watched up to this point anyway, I know someone who just got a job into the country. The person is over 40. Yes. As a matter of fact, it's over 50. Yes. Got a job and come into the country. So it's not the age that matters, it's your health. Retirement age, let me be very exact, in Ireland is retirement age in Ireland. Compulsory retirement. Retirement age in Ireland is 65. So you could still work for a good 15 years if you are healthy enough. 65. Yeah. Most contracts of employment have a mandatory retirement age. This is usually 65 years. Another website you could get everything you need in Ireland is citizenshipinformation.ie. Just type on your Google www.citizenshipinformation.ie. is a private body that writes everything you need to work, to live, to study. You read it. Maybe some of the terms sounds a bit complicated. All right, back to immigration. Quite. Let's not divert. So I've answered your question. What matters is your health. If because you need to declare your medical health, your medical status. There is pre-employment medicals that you need to do, ranging from COVID, from a hepatitis B, tuberculosis, so many things. When you come more, you're also going to be taking, they're going to taking some vaccines. So let's not go into that, but just know that your health matters most, and the retirement age is 65. Obviously, I don't think anybody will employ you for a full-time job if you are 65, for a full-time job, because full-time job comes with benefits. So I don't think anyone will employ you for that. But with 50 years healthy and with a very good, I want to believe 50 years you've been working, and upgrading your information, you could likely, very likely, if you're healthy, get a job. Okay. So back to immigration. So the immigration website of Ireland is immigration, just as the name implies, immigration.ie. Simple. Immigration.ie. Migration.ie. Let's have a look. That's a website. And then so like I was talking about critical skills work permit. So when you have your license back in your home country, and the next thing is to apply for a work permit. And the work permit is what will allow you to come into the country with your family immediately. For you to get a work permit, you need to get a job. So when you get your license, start applying for jobs. So let's talk about the immigration part, and then we'll talk about how you can find a job. So the immigration part, like I said, you would go onto the immigration website and apply first for an atypical working scheme. So is the atypical working scheme is like a temporary visa that allows you to enter into the country for up to 100, and I think they've increased it for 120 to 180 days now. So if you are coming for a period of adaptation, that's what you'll be applying for. You won't apply for a work permit. They won't give you that. You'll be applying for an atypical working scheme. But if you've gotten your license from the home country, then what you'll be applying for is a critical skills work permit that is done online. The fee is €1,000, and if you've gotten a job, your employer is going to pay for that. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. They will be even be the one to apply for the critical. Most times, obviously, you will give all the information they need for the application, but they are always the one who apply for that, because most employer have should I call it partnership with the a work permit office, that some employers application get assessed quicker than others. So there is what they call priority employers. So they give them added advantages of reviewing their applicant first before. That's not what should bother you, but yeah, they are going to apply for the work permit for you. And when they apply for the work permit for you, you are going to use that work permit and then apply for your visa and enter into the country. And visa is applied in 2 stages. First, you go onto the immigration website and apply for the type of visa that is called long stay type D. Like I said, there's difference between work permits and visa. You could get a visa to enter into the country, but without a work permit, you cannot work. So there are 2 types of visa literally in Ireland: long stay type D or short stay type C. Short stay type C allows you to stay in the country for less than 90 days, which is 3 months. Less than 90 days. Long stay type D allows you to stay in the country for more than 90 days. Okay? So when you have a job, and everybody that is coming to work will apply for long stay type D. So when you go to apply, they'll ask you the reason you choose employment and then the entry you choose single. You don't have to choose multiple, because if you choose multiple you pay double. Multiple is 100 euro, single is 60 euro. If you choose multiple, they will still give you single, because there's no need giving you a multiple when you are going to be getting a residence permit. I hope I'm not confusing you. I hope I'm not confusing you. All right. So you're going to go onto the website, fill out the application, all the details, address, if you're currently working, if where you, who is your employer. It's just questions that you can answer. Anything you don't know how to answer, you can ask. One of the questions there is when you intend to come into the country. So you want to give time between your start date of your job and the time, so you can give them like 2 weeks to the start date, or like 4 weeks to the start date, stuff like that, because the start date is going to be there on your contract of employment. Okay. Yeah, so that's the first part. You apply, you submit. There's no payment done on that particular website. Now the next step is getting your biometrics, and Ireland uses a third party called VFS Global. VFS Global. So when you go online and you just type VFS Nigeria, if you are from Nigeria. So this is what happened. It depends on your country at this point. So if you are a Nigerian living in Nigeria, you're going to go to VFS Nigeria, and there are 2 offices. So when you go on there, you create an account, and then you choose book an appointment. So when you apply on the immigration website, like I said, you're going to be given a reference number. Reference number always starts with IRL in capital letter, and then about 7-digit numbers. That's your reference number. It's the reference number that you'll be using to book. By the time you put in the reference number, your name, your details automatically comes out, and then you make your booking. That is the website you're going to make your first payment. So they are going to get payment for courier, where they will courier back your passport to you. They will get a payment for the visa fee, which is charged in naira. Okay, which is charged in naira. So whatever the equivalent is, it doesn't stay static. It doesn't stay static. As at June, the fee was around 100 and I think 112,000. I would need to be, I'm not exact on that. Okay, so you know, the as the exchange rate keeps going up, the fee fluctuates. So you pay fees in 2 places. So you pay the first one online. So the first one online carries your as a your visa fee, and then the courier fee. So if you want a VIP access means when you go, they will give you a dedicated somebody who is going to help you arrange your document, move you from one office to the other. If you're that, I actually paid for that because I just wanted more, like, and you don't have to wait too much in a queue. Obviously, Irish visa is not, people don't apply that much. I didn't even know that, but already I applied. And then yeah, so you make the first payment online, and then after making the payment, you choose a date. You can always change your appointment date, so you choose a date and time. So even if you choose your date and time and your appointment is like by 1 o'clock, you can go in the morning. If there is space, they will still capture you. Okay, so there are 2 centers in Nigeria. One is in Lagos and one is in Abuja. So whichever one is closer to you. I like to use Abuja because I feel like Abuja is calm. The rowdiness I'm hearing in Lagos, my head cannot carry it. So if you like Abuja, you choose Abuja. You have to choose the center when you're booking. Okay, so you cannot change your mind later. You have to be sure and then choose the center. Either you want to go to Abuja or you want to go to Lagos. So you choose and make the payment. Now, and then you've chosen your appointment date. Then your day comes, and then you go to the VFS office in Abuja. It is in some Sterling Bank Plaza. That's where it is, in Abuja. So when you go, you are going to be standing outside, especially if you go very early in the morning. Everybody, that's the the center, almost all the countries, you see people that are coming to apply for Canada, Finland, UK. Everybody is waiting there. So you will also wait at the line. Somebody will come out to greet you, give you a little bit of introduction of what the place looks like, tell you if you want to keep your bag in there, you need to pay. As I when I went, the payment was, I think, 500 naira. I did not pay. I just looked for one mama put across the road and told the madam, please make I keep my bag here. I know they pay anybody anything. So they will now, you have to go, your passport has to be in your hand, and then your appointment later. Without that, you won't be allowed access into the center. So you now go into the center, you'll be checked in where, you know, that computer scans everything. You go in, and then somebody will be there to welcome you. I'm just walking you through so that you know that this thing is very simple. It may take time, but it's very simple. You can do it yourself. So you go in, somebody will be there to ask you, which country are you applying for? You say Ireland, they'll tell you go there. Canada, go there. UK, go here. Finland, sit here. They arrange everybody according to the countries that they are going. Then when the people working for the Irish embassy is ready, they'll come out and call you people. So if you want the VIP access, when you go, they'll write a number for you. You don't tell them you want VIP. They will change it and give you a number and show you the VIP room. You go and sit. If you don't want the number, is the number that you'll be going to make payment at the end of the day. So you are always advised to come in with your debit card. They don't take cash. So come with your, put money in your bank account and go there with your debit card. So on arrive, at this point, you are already there with all your documents. What are the documents you need? Most importantly, your passport. Your passport, you're going to photocopy. Ireland wants every page of your passport, including expired ones. So if maybe that's your third or fourth passport, all other ones, you're photocopying the entire. If you did 64 pages, you're photocopying. I don't know what they want to use it for. You're photocopying the entire 64 pages. If it is the 26 pages, I mean, which one is the smaller ones that we small people they get? You're photocopying everything. So this point I'm making now is still applicable to people other than Nigerians. I'm just trying to explain the Nigerian aspect of it, then I'll go to other countries. Okay, so keep watching. You photocopy all the pages of the passport, including expired previous ones. If you have lost your passport, your previous passport, go online to the police website, posap.ng. There is, when you are, because police clearance is one of the things you're going to be submitting. So when you are applying for a police clearance from that website, apply for evidence. There's how they call it, but you lost document. So when you, and on POSAP website, there are three options. The one is police character certificate. One is for that lost document, and then the other one is for I've forgotten. So you're going to choose the lost document so that you are going to make payment, of course. Then the police department will send you that letter. So you will submit that to them to show that you have lost that particular passport. Otherwise, your visa may be refused just because of that. Irish visa is one of the hardest visa to get. It's one of the they go through your teeth and your eyes and everything. So do not miss anything. Do not miss anything. If you have any wrong dates on your passport, correct it. Go, even when the old one had a wrong name or a wrong date, still photocopy it and then do evidence of correction of that data in a court affidavit and attach to your application. Okay, so your police clearance, your job contract, your that lost document if it's part of it, all your passport photocopied, your birth certificate, your qualifications. I mean, your qualification certificate, for example, the certificate you got as a medical scientist after graduation, your license has to be current. So your license, your employment letter if you are working, your confirmation letter if you are working, your bank statement of your bank statements, the past, me, I printed 6 months. I always want to be on the safe side, but them, they say 3 months is okay. So the reason for the bank statement is not to check the balance of the money you have, is to check that if you are saying that you're working, right? So if you say you're working, you're getting salary, they will be seeing it on the, so even if your balance is 0 0, as long as you're applying for a work visa, it doesn't matter. Okay, except when you are applying for a short stay visa, that's when it matters that you need to have money to be able to support yourself. All right, so that's one of the documents you're going to be submitting. What have I not mentioned? Then your dependent birth certificate. So if you're married, so your spouse and your kids, if there is any, or your de facto partner, you're going to add their birth certificate. Remember, you'll be applying for their own joint visa. You understand? You're going to be applying for them. Their own will be joint spouse visa, or joint family visa. So you need their birth certificate in your own application as the primary applicant. So if you had gotten your license and gotten your work permit, and then you're going to get this visa, your family can do the application all at the same time. It's still the same process of applying for the visa online, but this time the option is going to change. Your own is employment, their own will be joint family, non-EEA, non-EU spouse. That's how it's going to be. I hope I'm not confusing. I'm trying to be very detailed so you can get the picture I'm painting all for you. Yeah, so we were at the level of gathering document. So I talked about license, your qualifications, yeah, all of that. I don't think I've missed anything. If I have missed during that time, you definitely add it to it. And also if you get to the, so your pay slips, yeah, 3 months pay slip. So if you're applying in, which month is this? January. You have to add December, November, and October. It's a must. You need to add that. Yeah, so that's it. You add all of that and then you apply. They will take your 10 fingers, that's the biometrics, gather out. There's a checklist, so they're using anything you miss. So the reason I like the VIP service is it has an added advantage. So let's say you went and then you forgot to bring a particular document. With the VIP access, you have the opportunity to bring that document in within 24 to 48 hours. Yes, within 24 to 48 hours, you can bring a new document. Other than that, then just know that you are in for refusal, because with no complete documents, they're definitely going to refuse the visa. So that's the advantage of choosing a VIP. But if you did not, and then you forget anything, so be it. Maybe you could tell them you're not submitting again, you get, and then you go and reschedule, and then you may lost the money you paid, because they have some policies regarding payment and refund. Okay, let me stretch my leg. All right, so yeah, so after you have applied, taking your biometrics, and then you go home, they are going to take your, okay, passport photograph. You're going to take that passport within the center. They will not accept, let me not say they will not, but it is safer you take that passport, because Ireland has a specific way of taking their, each country has a specific way of getting their passport, because that's the passport that is going to be on the sticker. If your visa is approved, that's the picture that is going to be on the sticker that are going to stick to your passport. So every country has their dimensions, so it is better to take it there. People are there. If you want to do photocopy, they are there to photocopy for you that day, but the money is slightly higher, but for that picture is better. You can do your all your photocopies. Remember, all your photocopies are colored photocopy. Don't do anything black and white. There are some documents that they accept black and white, but me, I always choose to be on the safe side. Go colored, my brother and my sister. Okay, now when you are done with this, you go home and then you relax. In 6 to 8 weeks, your visa will be out. Every Monday, they bring out visa decisions. You can check with your reference number to see if your visa has been approved or refused. If your visa has been refused, sometimes it gets refused even when you are going for a job. One of my colleagues' visa was refused Reason was that there was no atypical working scheme. But she said she submitted it. I don't know what happened, that they lost it, or I don't know what happened. So that's for Nigerians. Now, if you are a non-Nigerian, I know very well Nigerian Irish Embassy in Nigeria process visas for Nigerian applicants, Ghanaians, Ghana applicants, Cote d'Ivoire, and Gambia. Gambia? No. But there are 4 countries, okay? There are 4 countries that they process. So if you are from Ghana watching me, you are not going to go to Nigeria to do your capturing. You're going to do your capturing at the consular. They say an Irish consular in Ghana. When you do your capturing, they will now courier your documents and everything to the Nigerian embassy. So for Nigerians, after you have submitted your documents at the VFS, they are going to send it to the Nigerian embassy, because Nigerian embassy is different from the VFS center. Remember, I said the VFS is like a third party mediating, so that you don't go and crowd the Irish embassy. Everybody submits the application there, and then the VFS people will send. That's why they get more. They charge you for their fees and their payments and their those people, they even charge you for sending you SMS, but not a single SMS will they send to you. Even when your visa is out, they won't send it. They won't send you any message and say your visa is out. You only receive a call from the delivery person calling you, hello, I have a package from VFS for you. That's when you will now know that your visa has. Or maybe if you stay for a long time, and then maybe like today now, people that their visas were approved last were assessed from Monday last week to Friday. They published the names today. So if they didn't get to you, when you see the name, you now know that your visa is approved. That was something that happened to me. But they will charge you about 900 naira for this thing. So that's it for the visa application. What else were we trying to talk about? Job applications. How do you get a job? Because all this blah 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 blah, without a job, it is a big deal. Now, as a professional, you already know the kind of. I wish I could share my screen, but there are 2 people that employs in Ireland. Is either the government or the private body. I'm having a deck. 1 second, let me drink water, please. More votes coming in. More votes, please. Please, if you have questions, drop them. If you like the live, interact. The more you drop and like the video, the more YouTube recommends it. I mean, don't you want me to start earning YouTube money? Please, please share the video to people. Please share to your Facebook, share to your TikTok, share to everywhere, share to your WhatsApp status. Please, 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 please. All right. There are 2 people employing in Ireland. Is either the government or the private bodies. So we'll talk about the government first. The government is the HSE. HSE, Health Service Executive. That's the name. That's the umbrella name. So if you go on the HSE website, hse.ie, bam, and you open it, this is what you're going to be. Sometimes I forget that my laptop is touchscreen. This is what the interface is. Unblock this. This is what the interface looks like. HSC.ia. That's what the interface looks like. Obviously, we are in the computer era. I know all of us, we know how to use our phones, okay? So when you go on the website, you are going to I need to charge my phone. 1 second, please. My phone is nearly off. 46%. You are. All right. So when you go to the website, so there are many things there you would see, like literally they just try to make it as simple as it is, like what you'll be looking for, the services, schemes and allowances, health topics. But that's not why you were there. You were there to look for a job. So you're going to click on the menu and try to find the job, uh, job section. So when you click on menu, you're going to see where you see staff. I think I'll make a video like this and screen record the screen and then post it. Yeah, so you see where they write staff, so they talk about their benefits. You can read, right, different reasons why you may want to work in Ireland. There are various reasons. As a matter of fact, there are many reasons to want to work here. It's not the most country for everybody to be in, but I'm telling you, compared to what we have back home, it is the best. All right. So you go to jobs. There's a place, go to jobs. I don't know if you can see that. Click on go to jobs. And jobs in HSC. So staff and jobs in HSC, there's a job search. Use our job search to search for posts in nursing, your particular health and social profession. Okay, so if I click on job search, I can literally type. So this topic I'm talking about is under health and social care. So I'm going to click on that. So under health and social care, there are different jobs here. We can see there is audiologists, there is a place for staff grade radiographers, environmental health officer, medical scientist, physiotherapist. There is a place for senior dietitian to be working in adult nephrology and or general medical. There's neurophysiologist. That's the page one. You can move to the next page. You just keep searching till you see your own. This is radiotherapy, physiologist, social work, social care leader, manager, chief pharmacist. So there are various jobs here. You could also set like an alert to be able to know. For example, here this is a post for, let's see what they are looking for. Medical scientist is actually a senior position, not an entry position. Medical scientist, blood transfusion, because in Ireland everything is like centrally regulated, something like that. Not even something like that, everything is centrally regulated. So everything is centrally regulated. So this is a post for senior medical scientist, blood transfusion. So that's how their job always looks like. And the recruitment organization is in Dublin Midlands Hospital Group. There's a reference there. The location will be in St. Luke's Radiation Oncology. Is permanent. And the closing date for the application here will be 31st January by 12 o'clock. And then there is a link for this was last updated on the 14th. So there is a link to Resumo where you can go and apply for the job. Let's go search if there is, they give like a job description. Sometimes they do accept the cookies. And then there is a job description here. St. Luke's Radiation Oncology Network. It's a job description there. And you have to be fluent in English. Good. I did not talk about the English language requirement. All right. Now, there is an English language requirement for when you are applying for the registration. Okay. There are various ways you can prove that. From the way they write it on the website, I truly believe that if you studied in English, which we all do in Nigeria, you could get your school to write a letter confirming that your course of study, that your language of instruction, that's the word, sorry please, that your language of instruction was in English. So your school could write that. Your employer could also write for you to combine and say that you can speak fluently in English, communicate, write, listen, read in English. We are in town, especially if you work in town. Let's say you work in towns like Port Harcourt and literally, if you're working in a teaching hospitals, which is always located in a town, it's a multilingual place, and the only language that binds us is English. So your employer could put that. So if you're getting letter from the HR of your employer or from your senior supervisor at work to explain that you can read, write, you studied in English and you've been practicing in English, they can accept that. If you are from a country that the language is studied in English, that even your language of language of instruction was not in English thing. Countries like India, where they studied in their dialect, and then you need to be translating your or maybe countries like Saudi Arabia or UAE, things like that. Then you need to write the English language test. So there are different English language course. You could do the IELTS, the IELTS, you could do the OET. So for some of the professions within this health and social care, there is no OET for them because OET is specific. So there's OET for nurses, OET for doctors, there's OET for dietitian, there's OET for medical laboratory scientists. And because I'm using these two as an example, there's no OET for optometry, so I think you have to write the English language. So the English language, if you're writing the IELTS, it is overall band score of 7, minimum of 6.5 in all of them, and overall band score of 7. And then for some of the profession, it is overall band score of 7, and some of the profession is slightly higher, so you might want to check that out. I don't know if that's necessary for me to go back to say it in details. Don't know if that's necessary. Let's have a look, please. English, because that's very important. English language. Let's have a look up from of that. No, I know where to go. Okay, hold on. So I'm just trying to go back to where we have the English language qualification. So, but what I say is correct, but it's just that it's a little bit different for some of the profession, but the majority has minimum 6.5 and minimum 6.5 and overall band score of 7. So there's like a okay, let me mention this. There are continuous programs on their website in case you might want to go through it to see if they'll allow you to study for any of them. If it requires payment, you could also do that and do that. So let's go back to the job search. I think I said enough. So on the website on Resumo, you need to create an account with Resumo, and get a login details to be able to apply for any job here. So you create an account and then you go to apply now. So there is an email address here for the chief medical scientist. There's also a telephone number in case you want to call. Yeah, there is a HR information here as well that you may want to call. There is a job specification, which I'm going to quickly open that to just look for what specifically they are looking for. So in that particular job, the posting there, so people that get this job will be starting February this 2025, which is why they are closing. The location is going to be in the Midland Hospital Group. Details of the service. I want to see the, let's use this and go to staff management, education and training. So you have to be undergoing training. Here we do a lot of training here, same no they finish. Every day they go. So eligibility criteria. So candidates must at the latest date of application, one, have professional qualification and experience. So for you to have the professional qualification, you could prove that by being registered or eligible for registration. So you see, this is for, this is this qualified for those who want to come and so be registered or be. So when you see any place they say be registered or be, when they say be registered only, it means if you are not yet registered, you cannot get it, or be eligible to register. So obviously, if you're already in Nigeria and you have registered, because if you get your aptitude test done and you register, you get your license, you are eligible to apply. So I feel like it's pretty much easier for you guys than the nurses and the doctors and the pharmacists. Okay, it's pretty much easier for you people. And then they say all applicant who satisfy the condition in blah 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 must submit application for registration with the medical sciences registration board at CRO. The acceptable proof is correspondence from the medical sciences registration at CRO confirming the application for registration. So and possesses one of the following so when they say NFQ, I don't want to go into that. It's just the way they rank the level of education here. Level 7 NFQ is National Framework Qualification. That's what it means, NFQ. So let's say you went to school and you have like a MSc in clinical laboratory science, MSc biomedical science. So these are courses that could lead to registration as a medical scientist as well. Biomedical science, they always list out the universities. I don't know why. Biomedical science, molecular pathology, or you did it in Dublin University, or an equivalent qualification at minimum level 9 validated by the Academy of Clinical Science and Laboratory Medicine. Any school in Nigeria that is accredited to course, or any country, should qualify for this, and or possess fellowship of the Academy of Clinical Science, or have attended the fellowship. So there are many things, because this is a senior position, that's why they are looking. So there are also entry qualifications for this person, Mr. Job, that said 20 years. Probably you have an MSc in your field, so if you have that, that could be an added advantage for this. And demonstrate evidence of continuous practice, they like that too much. Possesses 4 years full-time clinical experience or an aggregate the past 5 years. So you need minimum as a medical scientist in a clinical diagnostics laboratory since qualifying as a medical scientist. So you need current practice to be able to get the job, and then proof of statutory registration, which you're going to get from them. Then age. Okay, age here they say age restriction shall only apply to a candidate where he or she is not classified as a new entrant within the meaning of the public service superannuation. A candidate who is not classified as a new entrant must be under the age of 65 years. So you see, so you have to be under the age of 65 to be employed. So that this is like a concrete evidence, the second concrete evidence, because I already gave you one that I know someone who is over 50 that is coming to work. This is one of the evidence as well, below the age of 65. So you qualify if you are still watching me. And then health, a candidate for and any person holding the office must be fully competent and capable of undertaking the duties. Yeah, they know they do cover for me. They know they do that one for you. They know they do, madam, cover for me and beg. No, you know they work for you because you are paid hourly and you're expected to spend that hour doing the job you're paid to do. Okay, so they have some, literally, if you get your qualification, you qualify for most of these things. Some of these things. So the salary, yeah, I know that's the one you might be interested in. So the salary scale for this post is as at the 1st of October last year. So early this January, if you go online, just type HSC salary scale, there is a document. I said that the other day. So the starting salary for this post is a senior post. Actually, you people are paid quite well. I think you guys earn way more than nurses, sir. Madam, why you dey turn abi, sir? Okay. Can you imagine? No? Okay. So the starting salary, because it's a senior position, is 65,360. So that would be the first point. 65,000. Actually, I think I will do a video and talk about salaries of staff because it's public information. I'll do a separate video talking about salaries. So let me not go into that. So the starting salary for this particular one. So the post is 35 hours working week per week. 35 hours, and the annual leave you'll be offered in Ireland. We have 26 to 28 work annual 28 days annual leave per year. So yeah, so that's how you look for a job. I don't know if I should recap it again, so I'm recapping that again. You go on hsc.ie and then you have a website like this. You click on the menu and go to staff, and then you go enter into their career hub. Then you look for jobs relevant to you. So there are jobs here for this particular people I'm doing this video for. You are all under health and social care professional. So you click on that and then you start searching for your job. So there is advanced specialist pharmacies, there is a medical admin and ICT, patient and client care, nursing and midwifery, medical and dental. So the recruitment process, so oversee candidates. Let me just read something there. I already mentioned this during the course of the video, but let me read it directly from the HSC website so that you know exactly what that I wasn't just saying it. Moving to international recruitment relocation package. Moving to a different country can be costly. To help alleviate some of the initial costs for flight and accommodation, there is a generous relocation package available. Who is eligible? Please, if you are just joining, there is a poll going on. I want to see how you guys rate this live. If it's something you want to be happening, okay? Who is eligible for international recruitment package? All grades of HSC staff are applicable for the package. We welcome candidates who are residents outside of Ireland and are relocating to take up either a permanent or temporary post for a minimum of 2 years to avail of the package. Okay, so to apply, what allowances? So the relocation allowance provide an allowances towards flights, accommodation cost, up to the value of €4,160 for EU and UK candidates and 4,710. So I was correct. 4,710 for non-EU candidates. So allowances towards accommodation flight are payable for a period of not more than 3 months. So from the time you resume of and not more than 3 months, you need to apply for reimbursement. If you booked it yourself, it depends. Sometimes you booked it and then they will reimburse you. And then these are additional fees. So the registration fees for the regulatory bodies, remember I mentioned €510, and then your visa fees, they are going to cover that. Your RCSI aptitude test, which is the €500 if you are going to do that. Philippines overseas employment, I don't know what that is for the Philippines. They pay that for them. The recognition fee of €510 are going to pay that for you. Validation or qualification fee, atypical working schemes, they're going to be paid, and many more. So but it won't be more than €4,710. So they will and then they are also going to like pay for your immigration, stuff like that. Some of them going to paying for the critical skills, like I said, €1,000 they will pay for that. They also pay for like your initial, so it depends on your employer for all of this. So that's how you can get a government job. I'm hungry, to be honest. I'm hungry. So I've been here for 4 hours talking. But this is very important. I really want to get this out of the way. If this is too long for you to rewatch, but it would be nice for you to rewatch, especially if it's too long for you to rewatch. I have a video. I have a short form of it. I'm going to post that tomorrow. So I'm going to quickly log out now. I think I've done enough. So if you think I deserve a thank you, please drop them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make very detailed and very educative video, very enlightening videos. And I hope that I wish you all the best. Seriously, I wish I can just use my hand and grab a lot of people to come in, because it's actually really nice. It's true there is accommodation crisis and all of that stuff, but you should be able to lead a little bit of a comfortable life. I am very, very appreciative of this opportunity and that I have. It is not to boast or anything, but I want to tell you categorically that in the period of 1 year, you can see I don't live in a fancy place, because I'm trying to save some money. I don't live in there are beautiful houses if you want, but you're going to lose like 70% of your salary. So if you are somebody that is more of a comfortable life, you will still live. I remember when I was back home, I struggled to feed. The money I even saved up to use for this process, it was by the grace of God and by holding my tongue like this. Don't buy this, don't buy this, don't attend occasions. If you invite me for anything, I will not come, because I don't want to miss the target savings I was doing every month. I had to even get money from my mother. She like emptied her savings and gave it to me, and which is why I cry so much for her loss. And unfortunately, I just lost her, and I hope I be able to give her the befitting burial that she deserves, because she deserves more. She deserves more. I did not want the first thing I'm going to be doing for her to be a funeral, but unfortunately life has happened. If you want to support me, I have a PayPal account. I also have a GoFundMe. I'm going to be linking it to my videos when I fix the funeral. So if anybody wants to help me, it's not like begging actually, but if you want to support me, you go. Thank you, Mr. Joe, but I am just saying that it is worth it. It is worth it. Things are very expensive in Nigeria, but I'm still somewhat able to, send some money to my mother the few weeks she was alive, and then send some money to my sister now, because as it is right now, I am the parent. My mom was the parent to both of us. We are just two, me and my sister, and now I am the parent to her. My father is alive though, so don't ask me. He's alive. My biological father is alive, but he's just a father. It's a figurative figure. Whatever that means, I don't know. But I'm sure you have the idea. So it is worth it. I'm telling you, it is worth it. Especially when they cover all this initial cost for you. You know that most of the money you spent, you get it back. So even if you maybe borrowed money that is not going to cost you too much of interest, you can pay back. And then you come in. It may be challenging because there is of this red list issue for you to be able to get a job. But for you people that you'll be getting the what is it called, the license right from home, is slightly different. So if you are now coming into the country, you can be able to get a visa. It is something that is worth trying. I said someone has come in as a dietitian from Nigeria. I know I keep mentioning Nigeria. That is because I'm from there. So if you are watching me and you are not from Nigeria, please don't be offended. Don't be offended. I'm just using something because I understand the plight of a common person, so to say. in Nigeria because I was there, so I know what it means. So it is something that if you have the means to do it, the money is not that much. Start saving on time, get money from people, get your spouse to understand with you. Sometimes if your kids are going to maybe a very big school, you can bring them a little bit down for just 2 3 years, because all these things we are struggling is for their future. Somebody like us that we are still praying to get children, is for our upcoming children to have a little bit of a comfortable life, because if Nigeria is going the way it is going, there are many benefits to your kids. I think I will also talk about that. There are many benefits to your kids. This education here is free up to secondary school level. In fact, in some counties they even get like lunch, not just any lunch, good lunch. If your child is not a selective person, because if your child is somebody like me that Gary is swallowing every day, you might not be eating it, because sometimes they cook very, because I discussed with one of my colleagues' child the other day. I was asking what food do they cook for you. She said they asked them to choose. They are in Cork. They ask them to choose, that they will send a message to the WhatsApp group that the parents, and then ask you to choose food that you want your kids to eat for the week. I'm like, what? And your mom would do that? She said yes. The mom said yes, she will choose. Sometimes she will just pick maybe rice, chicken curry, things like that, burger. And then so they will prepare each food, and then they write your baby's name when they go, they pick. So some schools give lunch, some schools give breakfast, some schools do both. It depends on the funding that they have. But for me, it's not even the food that is the problem. It's the fact that the education is free and is still standardized. Yes, I know that the university education is quite pricey, which by the time your kids get to is what is it called, second, if your kids are still small, because from the time you come into the country, okay, let me just use this opportunity to say it, because I can see Mr. Job is still watching me. Thank you so much for staying with me. I really appreciate it. You are helping the algorithm on my behalf. So by the time you come into the country, all you need is 21. So when you come into the country, at the port of entry, the immigration officers is going to give you 3 months. And then when you come in, you register your stay, you get your residence permit. When you get your residence permit, you are on stamp 1. You're on stamp 1. I'm still talking to this populace. So if you are just joining now, I'm talking of the list of the people that are under the critical skills, please. Stamp 1. So after stamp 1, when you stay 21 months on stamp 1. So why it's actually 24 months, but why it's 21 months is because you can renew your residence permit when it is 12 weeks to a little less than 12 weeks to expiry. So you can, African food day everywhere except vegetables. That's the only thing. So after 21 months, you'll be given a stamp 4. Stamp 4 is like permanent residency. With stamp 4, you're eligible to buy a house. You can apply for a mortgage and buy a house. With stamp 4, you can open a business. If you're a business person, you can start your own business. With stamp 4, you do not need a work permit again. So by the time you finish your first 2 years, contract, you can decide to leave your employer. Actually, you can leave your employer before your 2 years, but there are conditions attached to that. So yeah, we just stamp 4, and then after you stay another 3 years, making you 5 years in the country, you can apply for citizenship. And your dependents, your spouse and your children, when they come in, they are going to give them stamp 1G. So your spouse is going to get stamp 1G. Stamp 1G allow your spouse to work without looking for a work permit, so he can work as much as he wants. And after that will be renewed every year, and when he or she is 5 years on that stamp 1G, he can then apply for a stamp 4. So it takes a little bit longer for them to become citizen. But you as a primary applicant, 5 years, you become a citizen, okay? And when you become a citizen, things get a little bit easier. You have added advantage, some things. And then if you stay here for 3 years and then you give birth again, but I don't know if I'm too okay, let me not say it. So if you stay here for 3 years and then you give birth, your child is automatically a citizen of the country. So that means when he's going to college, the school fees will be significantly reduced, okay, depending on the course. If you go online and browse any school here, browse any course, you'll see the difference between what an international student is paying and what the citizen is paying. You see that there's a significant difference between you. You see difference that international students are paying like up to 15,000 euro, and then the indigenous paying like 4,000 euro. Okay, which this euro, if you don't have, which if you are conservative, let's see, because when it comes to money, people have different responsibilities. It's like when somebody will say, if you're just moving to a new country, don't send money home. What if people back home are dying? So everybody have their own individual family situations. So let's say because you have too many responsibilities, you were not able to save, they can apply for a study grant. There are scholarships, there are grants, there are loans they can get and study, and then pay small. Since they can work while they are studying, they can work as much as, because as a citizen you won't be giving that restriction of only 20 hours per week. So if any of your child is small, let's say still in primary school, and then by the time they get to college they're already citizens, see the difference. And if you are to leave this country and go to another EU country, you still have added advantage. In fact, you can even apply to be a citizen of UK. That's how that one works. I don't want to go into that. Okay, so the African foods here, you can also bring in your own food. The African foods, when you ask me of African food, what I'm thinking of is gari, crayfish, fufu. Sometimes if you even go and see like loi, but it's not always you see that. The only thing that is not very common here is vegetables. If you're a fan of, if you're like my husband that likes his freshly cooked what is it called, ugu. That's the only there is ugu, don't get me wrong, there is ugu, but it's not something that you can just say, okay, I'm going tomorrow to buy ugu. You may not see it. It's something that you go to buy gari and then you bump into ugu. You understand? So it comes once in a while. Here we lubricate our lips every second because the cold is drying it off. So the African food, there is dry fish, there are fresh fishes, different kinds of fishes. There are red. I don't like their red oil because I'm from Akwa Ibom. You are a Yoruba person, so I believe you people know. Do you people know the real taste of red oil? If you know the real taste, you know how they will pour it and then the aroma is coming out, the good aroma. So I don't like it. So I asked my sister to send me red oil and the cargo. It was quite expensive, but for me it is worth it. I spent over 1,000,000 naira to get those things, just 5 boxes. Let me show you what each of the boxes looked like. See this box here, see the size there. That's what our heater looks like. Actually, that thing you are seeing at the wall, there is a heater. So that's what the size of the box was like. And it was I think 5 of them. It was 5 of those. 4, actually, 4 big box and then 1 small one. And they charged from DHL in Port Harcourt. They charged I think it was 800, I think 840,000 naira. And then when it arrived, because it is goods and it has foodstuffs in it and it's coming from the non-EU, I had to pay import duties of 85 euro. As at the time I paid it, 85 euro should probably be maybe 100 and maybe 10,000 or thereabout, because that time exchange rate was about thousand, I think 1,000. It was fluctuating between 1,800 thereabout. So but for me it was worth it because that red oil was very important for me. The oil here smells. They don't bring it from good places. The oil here smells. It's actually real red oil, but you know when there is when the palm fruits is being soaked by rain, and then they now come and maybe they use dirty water to produce it, to prepare it, something like that. So yeah, the African foods. You could even see cocoa yam, water yam, but that time I asked them to bring the only thing is I feel like most of the foods here are chemical wise. I don't want to say that out loud because I'm not so sure. You don't label what you cannot prove. But the fact that sometimes you buy plantain that is ripe and the plantain will stay ripe forever. And then you buy unripe plantain and the plantain will stay unripe forever. It's, normally in Nigeria when you have plantain and you get ripe. So sometimes I think it is the weather here. The weather here is very different. It makes things change. So sometimes it could be the weather, but generally you will see everything is plantain. Sometimes you even see like water yam, anem, 3-leaf yam. I think everybody knows that one. 3-leaf yam. There are so many things, so many things. So what we use majorly as our green leafy vegetable is spinach. Okay, if you go to African shop, the brand of, or should I say the species of spinach they sell in African shop is very strong. So you can use it to make soup, to make your however you want to use it for. People use it as water leaf if they are cooking something like okazi or anything that requires water leaf. So they wash it and use the spinach, especially the ones they sell at Tesco or Lidl, and use it as spinach. So yes, the African foods, the African shops, you will even see malt, maltina. The only thing is you won't see alcohol that is coming from Africa. Yeah, all the alcohol you're seeing is here or imported within the EU, something like that. There are foods you will eat enough. African foods are quite pricey, and it's not really a food that you are buying every day. So the drill, or whatever, or should I say the tip, is any food that is in Asian and the Tesco. I mean this the local grocery shop. There's no need buying them. It will be more expensive in African shop. So something like coconut. If you see coconut in Tesco, buy it. Tesco will sell coconut for like 85 cents, at most 95 cents. But African shop will sell one coconut for €1 80 cents. So, so it's like that. So anything that you can buy, like chicken, if you can buy, there is chicken in Tesco for like 1 kg chicken that will go for like €3.50 in African shop. Although people say that African shop only is the strong one. So with time you get used to a lot of things. You know how to navigate your way. Anywhere you don't understand, you ask questions. Then something like goat meat, you won't really see the goat that smell like the goat because they don't burn. There is a law here. They don't kill animals by burning them. I think they just slaughter it and then they pull out. Sometimes you don't even see the skin of the goats. You won't see the skin, you just see the flesh. So I think they peel everything and then discard the skin. But there are people in African shops. You see sometimes there are people in down county, because the last time I traveled to Cork to see my senior colleague, I brought back goats that is like the real goat. They born it, but they say the people, when they realize that there are Nigerians and other Africans that need that type of goat, they have to go inside the bush, and there is a specific time they can do that, because this country, everything is highly controlled. Everything, the safety officers, they are very serious in everything they do. They don't just do anything anyhow. Everything has to go through the way it is on by the book. So like transportation, you have your lip card, and if you are living in the city, you don't really need a car. So but if you are living in the inside counties, when the buses is not very good, then you might need to buy a car. And when you are buying a car, you don't need to pay the entire money. You just get it on a loan, pay it bit by bit. Yes, there is an interest attached to that, but there's no need to go and pay for a whole car and then go. when you can just get it on a loan and pay it bit by bit. The transportation system is very good within the cities. It's very good within the cities. You use your lip card, you tap, it's €2 for 90 minutes journey. You know, if you're going outside the city, then I think it's about €4, sometimes €3 €87. You know, there's train, there's tram, there's bus, there are taxis. There's also bicycle. There's the bicycle from the government. It's €35 per year. You can download the app, register, get your details registered, and then you pay €35 per year. If you live close to where you have the bicycle stand, so you pick it, you drive to wherever you go to. If you pay for a year, you can drive however long you will. When you get to where you're going, you have to park it where they have, where they locks the bike. You lock it and then you pack it there. When you finish, any bike you see it must not be that one, because as you pack it, another person may take it. By the time you come outside, you just pick anyone that is available and then you move to wherever you're going. You know, if you are paying daily, then there's a daily ticket. If you are paying hourly, there's an hourly ticket for the government bicycle. You can as well buy your own bicycle. There's what we call bike to work scheme, which many employers offer. Government offers that. The bike to work scheme is that so if the bike is for example €2,000, you buy it, you get the invoice from the bike seller, send it to your employer. The employer will pay the seller, and then you will just go and get your bike and the equipment. So the money that you're buying there is tax free. It's tax free, so they will deduct that from your salary before they charge they tax the remaining salary. So you have tax benefit for it. So but if you use your money directly, you know the money that comes into your account is already taxed. But it's better you use the bike to work scheme if you want to buy your own personal bicycle and be driving to work and be riding to work, which is a form of exercise. Or some people, it helps you go around, especially if you live in places where the transportation is not so great. If it is a foldable bike, so you can ride from maybe your house to the nearest bus station, fold it, put in the bus, go to where you're going, or put in the train, go to. Many people do that. The other day when I was traveling in the train, that's what they do. People that live from one county to the other to work, so they have their bicycle. They get to the train station, enter into the train, fold their bicycle, put in the train, enter, they cross over, carry their bicycle, go to where they're going, and they're having fun doing that. So, and you have all these opportunities. So in my opinion, it is really worth it. It is worth it 1,000 times. I know the tax is high the more you work, because I think the country, their major thing is taxation. But we pay tax in Nigeria too as government workers, just that the private business may not be paying that, but we pay that in Nigeria. But what does it give us? What does it give us? Here, if you retire, like one of my colleagues that retired last year, she's not paying transportation again. They will give her the lip card that has her face and the transportation. So by the time you tap on the bus, it's free. You just tap. So people over the age of 60 don't pay transportation again. They don't pay transport. And as a legal resident, you're entitled to all of that as well. Over the age of 60, they don't pay for transport as long as you're using the public transport, the train, the tram, and the buses. You don't pay. Taxis are private transport, so if you're using a taxi, you pay for that. Okay? If you're using a taxi, you pay for that. So if you have children, your children qualify for child benefit. Child benefit, each child is €140. And they want to increase it this year. They want to increase it this year. I don't know. I think they're increasing it to about 100 and let me check that. Child benefit rate. So there is a rate. There is a rate to how they pay If your kids are twin, it comes with different rates. If your kids are, so yeah, child benefit is €140 a child for each month. Your baby as a migrant worker, your child is qualified for that. Okay, €140 for one child. Yeah, one child 140, two child 280, 3 420, 5 560, 5 children 700, 6 children 840, 7 children 980, 8 children €1,120. That's the maximum. So if they are twin, if you have twin, you get 1.5 times the normal one. So if you have twin, so each of them will be getting, so 140 divided by 2 is 70, right? So 140 plus 70 is 200 and what? 210. So if you have twin, each of them will be getting €210 per year, per month. So the two of them will be getting 210, which is €420 per month, up to the age of, if your child is 16, 17, or 18 and in full-time education, you will get child benefit until June in each academic year. So you get that up to the age of 18 years if they're in full-time education, which as a Nigerian, there's no how you will not put your children in full-time education. If they don't go school, what do they won't go? Except they won't learn handwork. And even when they are learning handwork, if it is a full-time apprenticeship, they qualify for it as well. So you see, and if you are giving birth here, your child is getting that from the time they are born till, it's something that you can even use if you want to be prudent in preserving your child's future. You could go to the bank. You could go to, not the bank, you could go to a credit union, because people say it is better to open accounts with credit union than the bank. So you could go to a credit union, create an account for your child, and then use your money to feed them. When the child benefit comes, you set up a direct debit to your account. It goes directly to your account. So if you get, and then you can also fill a form for them to use it to invest and then get a little bit of interest on top of it, so that by the time they get to college, they can have a bit of money. If peradventure you are no more alive, because no one knows tomorrow. Who thought my mother will leave me very soon? We never thought that. I'm just 31 and my mother is gone at the age of 63. Okay, so whoever thought that? So they could use that, create an account that you can use it to do some little bit of investment, and then the money will grow. Okay, and then by the time they get to college, that money, so you're using your salary to feed your children, and then the child benefit is saved up for them. It's saved up for their future. That's one way of assuring your kids' future, saved up for them. Or and then when they grow up, if you don't, they can, every children here work, kids work here. By the time you are the kids work here, they earn what is it called, minimum wage. They just increase minimum wage this 2025. So if you are at the age of and they just increase minimum wage, so your children could start, they just increase minimum wage to 13 euro 50 cents. Okay, and then if your child is under the age of 18 and is working, it will earn €9 45 per hour. If it's 18 years, will earn 10.80. If it's 19, will earn 12.15. If it's 20 and above, will earn the full minimum wage. You know why? Because at this point they're still paying them the child benefit. Like I said, everything is internally regulated. So when your child is around 18 years, when they finish their high school, they could start working, doing small full-time job, just to help. Okay, just to help. All right. I'm really grateful, Mr. Job, for joining, and I hope that you really learn a lot. If you have any questions, my email is always attached. My email is ndoisosambo@gmail.com. It's always attached to some. After this live, I'm going to edit the description box and add my email address in case anyone wants to contact me. I always, you know, if you want a paid guardians, I can help you with that. Okay. Can help you with that. 50,000 naira or 50 euro for non-Nigerians. It's in my account details and then you make payment. Time is going. I started the live at 6 o'clock and this is 8 to 9 actually. So I've been here for 4 hours. 4 hours, 30 minutes. Alright, so I think I'm going to end the live here. So I can have some time to edit video. Erumi me. Alpha. It a chop calabar. Me, I'm ending the live now. All right, thank you so much everyone for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop some comments, and I'll see you back in my next video. Bye bye. Bye bye, Rumi.